evening, everyone. Welcome to the first Automotive Conclave at MISB Bocconi. I, Archana Nambiar and Saksham Shrivastava are your hosts for the evening.
The topic at hand for today's discussion is disruptive trends transforming the automotive industry.
The conclave will comprise of thought-provoking panel discussions by influential personalities and dignitaries across the automotive industry. We brought together stalwarts in the industry to drive elaborations and discussions. Beginning with business disruptions, we shall explore the changes in business models, strategies and value chains to understand and chart out a brighter future for this sector.
Before we move on, I would like to extend a warm welcome to our new batch of students joining the program.
I'd like to hand over the dais to Mr. Alessandro Giuliani, the Director of MISB Bocconi, to deliver the welcome address.
Thanks a lot. I've welcomed you quite a lot today, so I'll be extremely brief and welcome just our guests. You have been welcomed again. You have understood that we enjoy this corporate connect. That's the reason we are in Mumbai. And we try to do as many activities with the corporate world, especially with very enlightening guests. So again, enjoy and thank you for coming to our guests.
Thank you, Mr. Giuliani, for addressing the audience. Before we move further, I would like to show you some picture. This is the picture of Mumbai 1930. How many cars can you see in this picture? I guess just one. 15 years down the line, how many horses can you see in this picture? None, right? Now this is something called disruption. Disruptions are not recent. Disruptions have happened for a long time, and the horse which we use for tens of thousands of years was disrupted in the cities in just 15 years. One more very familiar example of disruption is telephones. How many of you still remember using a landline? I guess no one over here. So from landline to mobile, just took 10 years to disrupt the whole landline industry. Smartphones were launched in 2007 and just took 4 years to disrupt the whole mobile industry. So what is this technology-based disruption? It is essentially when convergence of technology make it possible for entrepreneurs or companies to firstly create a new market or significantly weaken, transform or destroy an existing product, market or category or sometimes even the whole industry. Ola and Uber are the classic example of industrial transformation. Technology cost curve going down exponentially has resulted in disruptions in many industries, and even the automotive industry was not spared.
Disruption is on its way.
Can we have the lights on?
Before we begin, let us introduce our esteemed panelists.
The first panelist for the day is Mr. Prashant Sankeshwar. Mr. Sankeshwar is currently working as the Deputy General Manager at Mercedes-Benz India. Out of his 14 years of experience, Sir has spent 11 years in automotive industry. Prior to Mercedes-Benz, Sir worked at Toyota and BPL Sanyo. Mr. Sankeshwar has in-depth experience in manufacturing, sales, marketing, CRM, customer management, and IT. He has worked on key projects in Mercedes-Benz growth strategy, dealer development strategy, business processes and process automation for driving efficiency and operational excellence.
Sir, can we please have you on stage? Joining him is Mr. Chandra Nataraja. Mr. Nataraja is the Managing Director of Nord Brev. Prior to this, he served as the Managing Director of two other companies, TT Electronics and IAV India. Mr. Nataraja was the man behind the introduction of product and program management for EM systems in emerging economies such as Brazil, Russia, India, China and Korea. He's worked with Robert Bosch for a total of 22 years at various locations including India, Germany, South Korea and the UK as the VP of Powertrain Electronics for Consumer Engineering. He's also served on the board of SAE South India and has set up technical centers in Seoul, South Korea as well as Bangalore. Mr. Nataraja holds an executive management degree from the prestigious IIM Bangalore. Sir, can we have you on stage?
Our third panelist for today is Mr. Gautam Madnani, who is the business head of Lamborghini Mumbai, which comes under Jubilant Group. He has had over 13 years of experience in sales and marketing operations involved in the luxury automobile and aviation industry. He worked with two startups, B-Jets and Lamborghini Mumbai, both of which he nurtured from their birth. He also served at manager levels at Mercedes-Benz India for almost 5 years. Mr. Madnani was honored with the Product Champion 2007 first runner-up All India by Mercedes-Benz and was also selected as one of the only 3 candidates from the entire country to represent India for Maybach and AMG training in Germany 2010. Mr. Madnani's successful career roots from his strong passion for the automobile and aviation industry. Sir, would like to welcome you on stage.
Lastly, our moderator for the evening is Professor David Bardoli. He is a professor of strategy and entrepreneurship at SDA Bocconi School of Management. He is a teaching fellow in the Management and Technology Department at Bocconi University and our very own MISB Bocconi. He has taught courses in business strategy, corporate strategy, entrepreneurship, and has conducted research and training programs with many multinational companies in a variety of industries. He is the author of several articles on behavioral strategy, resource allocation, strategic decision-making processes, corporate strategy, and corporate entrepreneurship. His works have been published and cited in various journals, and he's also won the Bocconi Teaching Excellence Award thrice. Mr. Bardoli earned his degree in Industrial Engineering, followed by an MBA from IESE Business School in Barcelona, Spain, and a PhD in Management from UCLA. Sir, can we have you on stage? We regret to inform you that Pawan Vij will not be able to join us this evening. And now we open the discussion. Panelists, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, guys. Let's start our discussion on an industry that's quite fascinating. As Shan was saying, this could be the next poster child for the kind of overnight change that has happened to other industries. In 2015, KPMG asked a number of executives on a worldwide survey and asked them if they felt that there would be a major change in the business model, a major disruption in their industry in the coming years. In 2015, 12% of executives said yes, they thought it would be like it. They ran the same survey the following year. In 2016, 82% thought that they felt like there would be a major change in the industry. 12 to 82. Things are happening very fast. People are changing their mind very, very fast. But one thing that we do in business schools is try to damp a little bit this kind of vague statements like the industry is not going to be the same or there is a revolution going on, etc., etc. We try to separate the reality from the myth. So we are very happy to have these very distinguished guests here to help us distinguish the reality from the myth, to say really exactly where those changes are going to happen, and whether the incumbents in the industry, which they represent, are going to adjust, or how they're going to adjust to those changes to be able to survive. So I would like to start asking them a question about the present. In a second, we'll jump on disruptions in the future of electric cars and mobility. But I would like to ask them a question about the present, and maybe a question about
connected company. So when I say heavy metal, if you talk about braking systems, now I'm talking about non-passenger cars, but heavy commercial vehicles and also railway braking. So they are real heavy metals when you look at our products. And we have been producing this since 110 years. So the biggest of the challenge for us in the last 3 years was, how do we now transform ourselves into this, from a heavy metal company to something which is very accessible and more customer-centric and even end customer-centric. So what has happened in the last 3 years is, we have never grown in the braking business area. So we have more or less stabilized, we have more or less saturated in the braking system areas. What we have done is, we have tried to do what we were, contrary to what we were doing. We are now doing things which we call, how do we help a customer not to brake? Isn't it disruptive enough? So it started with a company which said, why do we make brakes? Because we help the drivers move faster. So if the brake is there, then he goes faster and faster, and the better the brake is, the faster he goes. And now we are telling, dear customer, don't brake. You know the reason why? Because we are concentrating on energy efficiency and energy saving. And when you talk about energy saving and efficiency in a commercial vehicle world and in a railway world especially, even a percentage, just 1% saving in energy is a huge lot of saving. So what we are trying to do is now transforming ourselves into something which was heavy braking into brake assist. So what we are doing is, we are telling the drivers, we are telling the system only when to brake and when to accelerate as well. So it is more or less a trade-off between accelerating and braking, and we are doing adjacent products and projects along with that. I'll touch upon it in a few moments, but that's the transformation we are undergoing.
Thank you very much, and this is very interesting because through the first two answers, we're already seeing that in the past 3 years, the companies have been getting towards the customer and talking to the customer. And this raises a little bit the question of who is really talking to the customer, because every single part of the value chain seems interested in connecting with that customer, but who really owns the customer? So I would like to hear also Gautam, because he's the closest to the customer, but also, you know, anything else that you want to add to this.
Sure. Hi guys. So I represent a very different part of, or rather very small part of the spectrum of the auto industry. Super sports cars make barely 2% of global sales annually. But the amazing thing is that irrespective of which part of the spectrum the customer belongs to, I think eventually the feeling inside when they're making a purchase is exactly the same. For example, when Lamborghini launched the new Huracan in 2014, the entire campaign was all digital, completely. There were teasers, and whether it was on Facebook, whether it was YouTube, it was Instagram, it's all digital. Even the configurator that we have in the showroom, traditionally where a customer would come and sit and configure a car with us, choose his leather, paint, etc. This year, from September, the whole thing is going online completely. So they need not visit the showroom anymore for that, and it's in fact now will be available on their mobile device or on their iPad. And I think that for someone who's spending north of $1 million is very different compared to traditionally how such cars were sold. So I think there's a big change in at this end of the spectrum as well.
Thank you, very interesting. The competitive environment in India, how has it changed, and where is it going in the future? This is a market that's very concentrated from the OEM side. It's 3 companies own 70% market share total. Are we moving towards a future of a bit more fragmentation? Are there potential new entrants? Are there some regulations that can alter this competitive balance also up and down the value chain. What are your thoughts in the coming 5 years, particularly in India?
If you look at Indian automotive industry, when it comes to typical product strategy, we usually follow the global strategy, which means that most of the products are launched outside India and they get launched in India. So, right? So it's not a real big topic when it comes to product strategy. But if you look at the competitive edge in India, so what India has as a potential, right? Every foreigner who comes to India, the biggest potential that's in India is the population, right? That's what everybody thinks, that India is the next big China. And second big potential India is the area itself. India is as big as Europe in terms of size. So every outsider who comes to India, these are two big things they see, and they say that this is the next boom, right? But typically in the last 15 years, most of the MNCs who came to India, they are not able to crack the India specific code, except players like Maruti or let's say Suzuki and Hyundai, right? They have been able to crack. Apart from these two players, nobody has been able to crack this India specific code, right? So if you're able to crack it, there is a sure market for sure, right? That's what I strongly believe. So, but yes, there are certain constraints in India, right? The ease of doing business in India is a very big challenge. So that is one of the very big opportunity for MNCs. If the ease of doing business in India improves, then you'll see a lot of potential, coming out of India. Two good examples actually Chandra brought. One is India-specific code which failed, India-specific code which was globally successful, right? But I want to be very clear here. India-specific code is not cheap cars for cheap people. Please understand that. This is not the India-specific code. India-specific code is affordable cars. Now, just to give an example, if you all know Maruti 800 story way back in 1981. So what happened here is, Indian government at that time they wanted to set up a car company, and there was a 3-member panel which was formed. One of them is actually Dr. Bhargava, who is still the honorary chairman of Maruti Suzuki. These 3 people went out and they did almost 1.5 year, 2 years research in terms of what kind of car we should make in India. The general perception was, when that was the age of Maruti ambassadors, big car, more people can be accommodated. That was the whole story going around, right? And these 3 people came back and brought the concept, which is basically a very compact Maruti 800, which is less than 4-seater, right? And they presented. And if you know the history, right, that becomes huge success. So it's not about big population or small car, it's all about how do you make it affordable. That is the code for India. If you're able to crack that code, I think there is a way forward. Not cheap. It should be affordable.
So on that note, Lamborghini, affordability.
Yeah, I mean, this is just so not where I come in, and affordability.
But sorry, I think it's very interesting to go back and forth from the middle market to the top market and back to the middle market, because we're painting the picture.
So I actually started my career with a Maruti dealership. I spent a few months selling people their first car, their Altos and 800s and Omnis. I've also sold aircraft and now Lamborghinis. But the mindset is exactly the same. Trust me, someone who's buying their 3 lakh rupee Maruti 800 wants to see quality. He wants to know what is the air conditioning capacity. He wants to know the mileage. It is the same with the guy who's buying a Lamborghini. Trust me, every customer that I've sold a Lamborghini to wants to know what is the mileage of this car. They negotiate really hard because that's how they've grown up. Okay, a guy spends 5 crores on a car, but he will negotiate you down to the last penny. Okay, even when the car comes in for service a year later. So that doesn't change much. But I agree with what Mr. Sankeshwar said regarding infrastructure, because that affects us the most. There is no shortage of people that can afford 5 crores on a car because it's pocket change for a lot of people. However, a lot of them don't end up buying it because they don't know where they'll drive it, or they're afraid of driving it on our roads. And I think even taxation for that matter, for example, import duty. So if you look at the super exclusive or the ESS, what we call the exclusive super sports car market, between 2011 and 2016, it actually shrunk, and now it's come back to 2011 numbers, because in 2012 and 2013, the import duty in India was actually increased. So the total customs duty went up from about 114% to about 180%. And even now with GST coming in, unfortunately, plug-in hybrid vehicles have been put in the same category as gasoline and diesel engine vehicles. And that's been a bit of a letdown for those who are probably planning for that for the future, especially with us. In fact, Lamborghini will get a plug-in hybrid Urus, the SUV, in 2021. And we were really hoping that that would be something great for India because it's an SUV, but now I hope they change it before that. And also, although GST has come, it's made a lot of things easy and smooth. The road tax still remains different for each state, and that's a bit of a challenge especially for our end of the industry, because road tax can vary from 3% in one state up to 24% in another state, so that changes the price of the car a lot.
To jump a little bit into the topic of mobility, consumer mobility, I was recently reading a few numbers, a survey asking consumers whether they prefer to own a car or simply use a mobility system. For the US, the percentage was 50%. 50% preferred a mobility system to owning a car. For China and India, this is a survey, there's always noise, the percentage was 80%. 80% of people prefer the mobility service than owning a car. So I would like to ask you, just moving into the disruptive future, right? In a future where 80% of the market doesn't want to own a car, what is your role in that business? So I mean, as I can see, it surprises you. It's not your experience.
Quietly, it's so surprising to me. I'll tell you why. The leasing option existed in India for at least now last 15 years, right? Unlike in the US. In US, everything is leased, right? Nothing is owned. Whether it is your house, whether it is a car, everything is leased there, right? In India, for example, ownership is still the key, according to me, because the reason is, especially my generation, most of us grew up in middle class, and owning something was a sense of achievement to me, right? Was a sense of statement to tell my parents or to the society that whether it is owning a two-wheeler or owning a four-wheeler or owning a house, give me a sense of achievement, and also to prove to the society that I have arrived at certain level in the society. Do you all agree with me? Yeah? And I'm sure this sense of achievement was there with me. I'm sure it is there with all of you, right? So I'm sure whether it is house, whether it is two-wheeler, for example, most of you when you join a hostel, there are a lot of bikes available for rent with you, right? But yes, most of you prefer renting a bike rather than owning it in school, because you are going to stay here for not more than 2 years, right? So in that case, yes, hiring a bike makes more sense. But your first preference is always to own it, because you are not going to use the bike for only 2 years, because it is going to stay with you, for a certain period of time. So owning is a sense of achievement, is to leave a statement to society. I think that will continue. Even with the millennials, I see it. A lot of people, I interact with a lot of startups, especially in Silicon Valley in Bangalore, where most of these startup founders, right, in Bangalore, because of the heavy traffic situation, they have a car but they don't drive it because of the traffic situation. Rather, they would prefer, you book a Ola or Uber in the morning, pay 120 rupees one way to office, at your convenience, stay another 120 rupees, come back home, right? That doesn't mean that they don't have a car. So for me, 80% of the people saying that I don't want to own a car was a surprise. So I don't want to comment on that.
But I think it's very interesting, because what you're telling us is a little bit the assumption about the future that you guys are operating with, is that people will continue to value ownership, and hence, maybe I'm asking, your business model is essentially the same 5 years from now than today because of mobility. Mobility has an impact. It may be affects you on the edges, but you're still going to continue selling cars with the value proposition that you're using today or
See,
tomorrow.
business model may change, right? For example, but yes, ownership will continue. Customer would like to buy a car rather than use the alternate services like Uber or Ola, even for Zoom car. So that will continue. But whether the business model will change, yes, that will change primarily because of the technology and the products. For example, let's say if I look at electric cars coming in the future, the whole business model is going to change, right? That probably we can take it up later. Yeah.
I think the thinking from my generation and this generation is different to this generation here. For us, owning a car or a two-wheeler was an asset. For them, it's really not. It may be even a liability. So they are probably more finance savvy than we were. We were never taught economics. We never knew what economics was, macro or micro, forget it. So that way they are actually seeing what is there in it for me in any asset or a liability that I have. So the whole thinking has changed. And easy money doesn't really mean for them just put them and call them assets. Even if you look at some of the forms that we used to fill in our days, they used to say, what are all your assets? We used to say one motorcycle, one car. It's no longer that form today. Motorcycle, car is a liability. If you don't agree with me, you can raise your hands. But that is the reality today. So the whole concept of asset and liability is different. Therefore, I would say owning versus any other business model is going to reflect on the younger minds who are more exposed in a more economic way.
Can you take a quick survey?
I think we should.
So how many of you don't want to own a car, rather use alternate sources? It's actually, 20%, less than 20%. So 80% still want to own a car.
How many of you would think owning a car would be an asset?
The KPMG guys don't know how to run surveys, apparently.
I think the whole mindset of calling a car an asset or a liability, I think that may change, but I still don't think that will deter people from owning cars. I mean, back in the day when people bought a car, they bought it only as a mode of transport. You bought a Fiat, you used it for 15 years, then you sold it to a relative who couldn't get a new one, so you gave it to him and you bought another Fiat. Right? Today it has changed a lot. People are changing cars every 3 years. The reason they want to do that is because they see their car as an extension of their own personality. Right? As Mr. Sankesh rightly said, you may use an Ola during the day or an Uber during the day, but when you go out at night, when you're going out with friends or with clients, you want to take your car out. Irrespective of, the traffic may bother you, the roads may not be that great. But I still think a lot of people, because if that was the case, then I think Mumbai is the prime city where people need to trash their cars and move into something else, because it's a nuisance. But if you look at the streets and if you look at sales, I think last year in Mumbai between Mercedes, Audi, BMW and Jaguar, they sold about 5,000 cars, only in Mumbai, if I'm not mistaken. I think the numbers about 5,000, Mumbai market. Right? So, and that's only been growing. It's not even stagnated, it's just growing. And I think because cars have become, every car is now being sold as an aspiration for someone. Right? So I think ownership will continue.
Just adding one comment on this part, many of our luxury customers, whether it is Audi, BMW or Mercedes, these cars are basically second or third cars for them. And 80% of them, apart from Mumbai and Delhi, they use luxury cars only to socialize, which means their daily cars are not Mercedes, Audi or BMW.